And Chloe joins us now alongside Nadia Parks, who portrays her in the series. Ladies, so lovely to see you. Chloe, lovely to see you again as well. We obviously had some fun on Big Brother. Chloe, your ordeal was absolutely horrendous, what you had to go through. Can you just take us back, for those that don't remember or are unaware, what actually happened?
Yes, I was working as a glamour model with frequent international jobs, and I was booked for a shoot by my old agent, Phil. And when I arrived at that shoot, it turned out to be a setup, and I was attacked from behind by two masked men, injected with ketamine and stuffed into a holdall bag. I was unconscious throughout this. I woke up with handcuffs on my wrists, my ankles, tape on my mouth, taken to a farmhouse hours away, and held captive for 7 days until I managed to convince the guy to release me by reading him and using his feelings.
It sounds like a horror film.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
You know, and human trafficking is a massive... I don't think anybody can comprehend how big it is. So you were so lucky to get out of there and use those skills to get out of there. And when you did free, and it was in the press, it was the Italian press that actually leaked the story. It wasn't even you, was it?
No, I did not want anyone to know. I was embarrassed by it. I wanted to move on. I was telling my agent at the time, I don't want anyone to know about this. And then the day before I got back to the UK, I had no choice. The Italian police said, we have to leak the story because it's of public interest and public knowledge and safety. And then there it was. I had no control over it, so.
OK, and you were, well, called a liar. You were really victimised in the press. I watched a lot of interviews with yourself, and the way that you were treated was just terrible. Because what had happened is you'd gone out shoe shopping with this guy, you know, that you were trying to win round to let you loose, but it looked like it had, you know, you'd set the whole thing up. So people were accusing you of setting all this up for publicity. I mean, how did you feel at the time, and how do you feel watching back at some of those interviews as well?
Honestly, the media affected me long-term more than the actual kidnap itself.
Really?
Yeah, and I feel like that's really portrayed in the drama. It's a lot about the publicity after. And I'm glad that people get to see that because it definitely had a bigger long-term effect on me.
So this must be a bit of a 360 moment for you because obviously you were vilified so much by the media, not believing your story, people calling you a liar. Now to have this series made, is this a bit of a vindication moment for yourself to sit there and go, you want to know what happened? Now you can see it yourself.
Yes, exactly. Like, I want the closure. I got the closure from the kidnap from the court, you know, when they were sentenced, when all the evidence came out, but I never got that closure from the media. I feel like it just was left open-ended. People's last memory is publicity stunt, it was fake. You know, all these false headlines never got closure, and I believe this drama can help do that because people learn a lot of things they didn't know, and all from the court proceedings, the BBC went into so much detailed research.
This is what I wanted to ask, because obviously this is your story, so you must have been so heavily involved in the production of this.
Yeah, it's been going on since 2020, 4 years, so imagine all that time spent on detailed research. I had very close meetings with the writer, with Nadia before filming started so she could understand my characteristics, personality, how I behave, and that's also an important part because it's part of why I wasn't believed.
Yeah, and Nadia, a big responsibility on your shoulders there to play Chloe's part. So did you two spend a lot of time together, you know, getting all the details right and how she was feeling at the time?
Yeah, it was really important to me that I told this story in like the most accurate, authentic way. So I was lucky enough to, you know, meet you 3, 4 times and kind of ask you questions about what happened to you, but also, you know, I got to ask questions like what kind of music you listen to and stuff, because I think accessing a character, the events are one thing and there's so much, you know, research that I could do, but I needed to just get to know Chloe and pick up her voice and her mannerisms and the way she walked. And
Nadia,
stuff.
I've got to say, I saw the clip of this morning when we were in our meeting. The first thing I said was, oh, so Chloe's playing herself. You have done. Like, I just saw a little still there. Let's bring that back up because I cannot believe how much you've embodied her. Like, genuinely, I thought you were
thank
her.
you.
But taking on this role, obviously, this is it's human interest, it's real life.
Yeah.
So as an actor, a lot of the time, a lot of it's fabricated that you have to do. But when it's someone's real life story, and it's not a pleasant story by any means, did you feel the pressure of that, obviously knowing that this girl sat next to you?
Yeah, massively. You know, like, it was such a responsibility to do this story justice, do Chloe justice, but also, you know, like you said, a lot of things are just based on true events. Everything that is in the drama is actually happened. So, you know, going to those emotional spaces and the headspace that Chloe must have been in that time, like it was a hard job, but I was lucky enough that someone could shout cut and, you know, Chloe couldn't wake up from the nightmare, so.
I think it's been a learning curve for a lot of people to know, do not judge, because I think you were judged a lot, I think, for being if you don't mind me saying, a glamour model, and none of us have been kidnapped, dear, all right? Nobody knows how you're going to react, and when you were given the interviews, you were quite matter-of-fact. There wasn't a lot of emotion there, but is that how you dealt with it? And do you think back then you were in a lot of shock when you were given these interviews?
I feel like I was in defense mode. I was just answering questions about what happened and just being as factual as possible to tell what happened, and people didn't like that. Like, they expected me to be crying, but I just don't cry in public. I don't like it.
I actually think, like, going back to, obviously, you were in Celebrity Big Brother when I was working there, and I actually think that was a really great thing for you, purely because of the sheer fact of, I think we got to see you, and even just talking to you now, you are very cool. You are very composed. You are very quite matter-of-fact with the things that you say. So looking back at those interviews now, for me personally, I could sit there and go, well, I think surely she should be acting like this, she should be acting like that. But actually speaking to you and getting to know you, I feel like that is why you were like that in those interviews. Nadia, did you feel that as well when you met Chloe?
Yeah, I think it was, like Chloe said, it's a really important part of the story, the fact that you were judged based on a lack of emotion. So I guess the responsibility of me was to kind of bring the emotional truth behind the headlines, behind the media headlines, and kind of uncover why certain things played out the way that they did. But, you know, it is because of Chloe's bravery and resilience that she's here to tell the story, and that we're lucky enough to be able to tell her story, and she's a survivor, so.
And for you to watch this back now, Chloe, and actually see what we're all about to see through your eyes, how does it feel knowing now that everyone's going to experience what you've always said has happened all along? Is it a moment for you where you think, now you can all shut up, everyone that had something to say to me?
Yeah, it really did give me chills, like seeing, you know, a lot of dramas, maybe they're not what actually happened, but this is very, like, everything happened, what's in there. There's no fake additions or anything. Everything happened, especially episode 6, where you see all the court proceedings and the amazing evidence against him. You know, him basically admitting it on a jail call to his mum from prison. Like, all of that is included, and no one knew that.
Has anyone actually apologised to you, or do you think after this series that there's going to be quite a lot of phone calls to you actually apologising?
No, no one's apologised. I see, like, headlines starting to change, which is good, and media taking accountability for what they did. So I'm already seeing a positive change, and that's what I hope that people will get from the show and learn things, and it will change.
And what's next for you now?
I have some things I can't talk about, but
But you're happy?
I'm happy, yeah.
Good.
I'm in a better place, yeah.
Well, we're glad you're happy, and we're glad you're here to tell your tale, to be perfectly honest with you. Nadia, it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for
Incredible
having me.
in this, you really, really
thank
are.
you.
Kidnapped, the Chloe Ayling story launches, it's a double bill actually, at 9 p.m. on BBC 3, and all episodes are going to be available on the BBC iPlayer from 6 a.m. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, and lovely to see you, Nadia. Yeah.
So nice to
good
see you.
things are happening to you, I'll tell you.
Thank you
Chloe,
for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.